Goddess Katie is saying, did you see the Hindutva outrage against Rihanna yet?
Wait,
What?
that reminds me. I need to send you a meme, Katie. I found the best meme earlier. So Armin, you didn't. Okay, so this is what's going on today. So Rihanna tweeted her support for the farmers' protest in India, and basically said like, "Why aren't more people talking about this?" I think that was her tweet. And the Hindutva backlash is vicious. It's extremely racist. And
we should cover this.
Oh no, we're going to. I'm just Katie, if you find a news article about it, because I want to, it's so much easier if it's already in a news article. Send me that news article, because I was like, bro, like they were, but I know, guys, I found the funniest meme. So someone tweeted like BJP IT cells right now, and then it's a guy like looking, it's like, are Rihanna's parents Muslims? Is Rihanna funded by Pakistanis? Is Rihanna a Khalistani supporter? Any anti-Hindu songs by Rihanna? The IT cells got the conspiracies like already pumping. Like, there's no explanation about why someone else would support this. Like, yes.
Okay.
This is big news, though. Yeah. Wait, you're saying based Rihanna.
Yeah. Katie is saying they are outraged about Rihanna and Greta Thunberg voicing their support for the largest protest in human history. Is this actually the largest protest in human history?
Can I get a citation on that?
That's amazing if that's true.
Send me a citation on that. But yeah, it was, and then that news or that backlash from Rihanna reminded me how there, from a 2013 Washington Post poll, like India is one of the most racist countries on the planet. It was, some of the stuff I saw on Twitter was really bad. But in a way, what's the best way to put this? I am looking forward to how their behavior will expose themselves in their true behavior to a wider audience even more. Like how the backlash against Armin woke up, and me and Atheist Republic in general, and just anyone who supported us, woke up a lot of people to how dangerous this ideology is, and the vitriolic, the true vile venom just of their behavior, that mentality, like how bad it is. Like it woke up and exposed so many people to that for the first time, ruined years or decades of marketing, right? In the span of like 3 days. This is going to have the exact same effect. So in a way, I'm trying to look at the positive. Which is anti-Hindutva. Mark. I die. So
in Ghostman saying India contains some of the smartest people on the planet. More than 250 million farmers and their supporters have taken to the streets. The strike is now officially the biggest protest in human history. Yeah, I agree with everything as Ghostman is saying. But I'm really sorry, Ghostman. I'm really like, I get this icky cringe feeling when a group of people is trying to be appeased by saying that they have some of the smartest people. I mean, how could they not have some of the smartest people? There's a billion of them. All right. I don't know. I just think like it's again, I don't mean to put you on the spot. I just feel like it's like treating people like a little bit like children. Am I being too picky here when I say like, when people are like, oh, yo, you know these, like, if, for example, if somebody comes and sees you like, oh, Armin, where are you from? I'm like, originally, where are you from? Where are you born? Like, oh, Iran. I'm like, oh yeah, I know Iranians. Iranians are great people. I'm like, it's just cringe. It's just so cringe to me. I'm like, we're talking about 80 million people. Of course, they're going to have great people. They're going to have smart people. They're going to have dumb people. They're going to have a bunch of racists. They're going to have some of the greatest and the worst people. And that's just like 80 million. right? And now we're talking India. We're talking 1 billion people. Of course, they're going to have a huge number of geniuses. And also, here's another thing that is true, Ghost Bunny. India contains some of the dumbest people on the planet. Did you know that's true?
Uh-oh, baby.
Did you know that's true, Ghost Bunny? Because there's 1 billion of them. Yeah, so it's true that India contains some of the smartest people on the planet. And it's also true that India contains a gazillion of the dumbest people on the planet. That's also true. Okay? So let's not try to like, I don't know, like try to be like congratulatory to people based on where they are, based on their ethnicity or location. I think this is more of the reason why I'm so picky about this is because it's a collectivist mindset rather than individualist mindset, right? I don't like to judge people based on the location they're born or their ethnicity, or the, or any other biological metrics, right? Or anything that they had no choice in. I like to, treat people like individuals, right? So I think like that's why I'm so picky about not being a collectivist rather than being an individual. Individualism is something that I'm very passionate about. Again, sorry, Ghost Bunny, didn't mean to put you on the spot. Oh, okay, wait. Ghost Bunny is saying I copied and pasted. I just sent a link to Susanna.
No, I know. I'm looking at it right now. The article that Ghost Bunny sent me actually cites a different article for that figure. In late November, what may have been the single largest protest in human history took place in India as tens of thousands of farmers marched to the capital to protest new legislation, and upward of 250 million people around the subcontinent participated in a 24-hour general strike in solidarity. This massive people's movement has gained attention worldwide and more will force the government to come to meet the protesters where they are instead of just cracking down and brutalizing them. A first in the 6 years of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's rule. So that 24-hour strike mobilized 250 million people. But what about, this has been ongoing? What about the rest of it? I'll have to read more about this article. I'm gonna... Until recently, the worldwide rally against U.S. President George W. Bush's decision to invade Iraq in 2003 had been known as the largest in world history, amassing 10 million to 15 million people in more than 600 cities across the globe. This summer's anti-police brutality moment protests within the U.S., which also spread internationally, featured the participation of up to 26 million people in the country alone. So even if the 250 million figure is difficult to pin down with certainty, the Indian farmers' protests still clearly dwarf these numbers by several degrees. That is, of course, no guarantee of success. After all, this is the same government that crushed dissidents in Kashmir, demonstrators against the Citizenship Amendment Act with relative ease. But that doesn't mean that the farmers shouldn't keep fighting.
Okay, I don't understand. How many times do I have to explain this to you guys? You keep saying like, oh yeah, that's a copy paste from an article. Yeah, guys, it's not about you guys. It's not about me. I'm just giving you my opinion about something that you highlighted, okay? Whether it comes from you, whether it comes from someone else, whether sometimes it's not, you said something that it just makes me rant about something that is relevant, but I'm not putting you on the spot. Like, I don't know, how many times do we have to, like, yes, I know.
We're not necessarily attributing it specifically to you guys.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter if it comes from you guys or if it comes from Ghost Bunny or if it comes from an article. I saw it and somebody said it and it triggered me because I hate collectivism.
Because I get triggered, okay?
I get triggered and I wanted to rant to you guys. Okay?
Oh, in fact, yeah, so Katie's saying they've shut down internet in several parts around Delhi.
Wow.
That's actually what Rihanna was commenting on. let me go find the tweet because we're talking about it so I can be specific. But I believe she was posting an article about how they're cracking down on the internet around Delhi. Yes, she linked to an article by CNN, and the article is titled "India Cuts Internet Around New Delhi as Protesting Farmers Clash with Police." And then she just commented, "Why aren't we talking about this? # farmers protest." And
I looked into this whole farmer protest thing. It was like the law is a little bit like there's a lot of nuance into the thing that they're proposing, and I was like, okay, this is getting a lot. This is very detailed, right? So I was just like, okay, here's a simple version. Okay, the government is screwing the farmers, and they don't like it. Right? That's the summarized version of it. Okay, they're passing out the new law, and the farmers think like, okay, this is bad, and they're getting together. And I mean, this is good. This shows that, I'm always for peaceful protest. Any country that makes peaceful protest a regular habit. It's a country that the people are holding the government accountable, right? So that's a good
want
thing.
to know something?
What?
So as part of this protest, there was like this tractor rally that happened, and I know there was a lot of other stuff that happened with this tractor rally. Like maybe some of it wasn't quote unquote kosher. I'm not entirely familiar, but you can imagine a bunch of these farmers going into the New Delhi area with like their tractors, all decorated and everything. That was cool. Anyways, so the wait, let me find it. The lawyer that's harassing us is also filing stuff against the tractor rally.
No way.
I'm serious. This nuisance lawyer is also. Wait, let me try to find these tweets. Yeah, he's taking action against the.
He just wants to. This is a lawyer that is just passionate about defending Hindutva against all her enemies.
Yeah. He's a hard. What's it called? The Hindutvavi?
Okay, I want to say something about this whole protest thing in India. Okay. This, by the way, shows that if you're a politician, okay, and you're failing in delivering people what they want when it comes to the economy and security and all that, and then you're like, let me tap into that identity politics thing, right? Let me like scare people or like use tribalism and demonizing a whole bunch of group of other people that makes them distract them from what actually makes their lives better. That works for some time, right? But all you're doing is you're just delaying and creating a bubble that is going to burst even stronger further down the line, right? Because at some point, no matter how much you talk to people about gods and goddesses and cultural wars and scary Muslims and making India Hindu and demographic engineering, at some point people are going to be like, if you keep not delivering in fixing the economy and providing people a life that they could be comfortable with, at some point they're going to forget. It's going to come back to, yeah, okay, we need to eat, we need our children to be able to eat, and we need to make sure that we have comfortable lives and a roof over our head and financial security. You just like, again, cultural. One thing we do, religion and culture, okay? One reason why we fight against using culture as in political warfare and using religion as a way to divide people is because all the opportunity costs, right? It's not that we think that this is a battle we're fighting. We think this should be over because the opportunity cost, like imagine all the time and resources and energy that is not being spent on making India a better country, right? All over this nonsense, right? So India's potential, so this is good. This is basically Hindus. Like, it's really hard to dismiss all of this, right? Because when you talk about like, oh, people being offensive or Muslims taking over or something like that, there's a lot easier for the government to come in and spread conspiracy theories and fearmonger because spreading misinformation about that is easier. But when people's fridges are empty, it's really hard to, when it comes to religion and culture, you could tell people like, I don't know, the election was stolen, like and people will believe it, right? And if you can say like, I don't know, Jesus is coming, and people will believe it, or Goddess Kali is your mother, and people will believe it, right? But when it comes to your fridge being empty, the government can't just become like, no, there's actually food in your fridge. Like, you open your fridge and there's no food in your fridge. Like, you can't, that's just like you hit a wall there when it comes to, spreading. Like, there's not much you can. At some point, you're gonna hit reality, and the government can't go further than that. And like, I'm hungry. My children are, don't have a future. There's no security here. I can see it. Okay, I can see it with my own eyes. Like, so, again, this is why we need to fight identity politics, religion, and misuse of culture. But anyways, go.
Well, there's some quote. I can't remember who I'm supposed to attribute it to, but basically it's something along the lines of like every country or government is like basically if the population like it's like 3 days of food away from a revolution. Let me look it up. But yeah, it's just the idea of like when there's going to be massive unrest when people's needs aren't being met. Goes Funny is saying, I'm glad the farmers are getting recognition globally right now. Sorry, you can tell I'm like, woof, because I can't read straight. Cognitive fog, man. They have recently jailed several journalists who reported on the police killing protesters. Yeah, and then the authorities say that no one was killed. But I believe so I'm slightly familiar with this, right? I'm not very clear, but I believe the journalists even reported them as allegations. So reporting these allegations of people being shot by the police, killed by the police, as allegations, and they still got arrested. They were under criminal charges.
That's insane.
What I'm not 100% sure on is that they reported these as allegations. Right? That's what I've heard. So go look that up yourself, guys.
Oh, look at this.
Kangana now went after Rihanna. Of course she did.
You know why I like all of this whole farmer situation is like when it comes to the impact of it from outside of India is because a lot of people assume that when we go after Hindutva, a lot of the woke types, they think that we're being anti-Indian. Okay. Mm-hmm. So now that we have the world's largest protest against the government, then people will be like, oh, there is Hindutva, and then there's the Indian people, all right? So they can see that going after Hindutva is not anti-Indian. In fact, India is going after Hindutva right now. So this should be make our fight against Hindutva a lot more acceptable to non-Indians now, to leftist non-Indians outside of India, because I mean the leftists are pretty pro working class, right? I mean, how could they not have been on our side from this, right? We're talking Hindutva is far right, right? We're going after far right, and now we have the working class rising up against them. And so this whole idea of like, oh, it's their culture, this is their values, you shouldn't criticize them, that should all go out the window. I mean, if you're a leftist and you cannot see what side you should be on when the government is far right and the Indian people are the working class, the farmers are like challenging the government, and even as a leftist, if you want to say like, oh, I don't know, that's their values and that's their rules, if you can't pick a side here, then I don't know, you shouldn't even call yourself a leftist, right?
I'm gonna take a browse through some of the reactions on her Twitter, because some famous cricketer is saying like, we're proud of our farmers and we know how to treat them. We don't need some outsider sticking our nose into our business. Like, wolf.
And also subscribe to our newsletter, because if we get removed from all these platforms, at least we could reach out to you. And guys, by the way, if you subscribe to our newsletter, you get a free copy. Where's your copy, Susanna? Get it. We're doing promotion. You get a free. It's not even promotion. It's free. Okay, so if you subscribe to our newsletter, link in the description, you get a free copy of Why There's No God. Come on, like, I'm handing it out for free. Okay, it's a bestseller on Amazon, and you get it for free. So subscribe to our newsletter, and you get a free copy of Why There's No God sent to you. Link in the description.